Hey, hey guys, what's up? I just got out of, when I say just got out of, I mean a few hours ago. I got out of a screening of the 2015 slasher kind of horror film called Green Room. Now, I heard about Green Room. Uh, I first saw the ads for Green Room actually when I went to the screening of The Witch, and I absolutely loved The Witch. And it looks like a really cool kind of extreme horror, kind of punk rock horror, kind of slasher. It looked really sweet, and um, I gotta say, while so far this year, The Witch is probably the best film in general, but as well as being the best horror film of this year so far. Even though I'm going to stand by my by what I said, I would have said multiple times, and I'm going to say that The Witch is actually a film from last year, and so is Green Room, but whatever. The Green Room didn't get a really wide release like The Witch did. I mean, The Witch was playing at the theater like a few miles from my house, um, while The Green Room was only playing at one theater in Columbus, and that was a theater downtown, and it was an independently owned theater. Um, but Green Room is basically a oh yeah, well, like I was saying, The Witch, was a very slow paced, not ultra violent, very interesting, very slow burn, and very tension filled horror film. The Green Room is almost the same way, except it's a bit different. It's fast paced, tension filled, and it is violent as all hell. Like, I could maybe see why they didn't release this super wide release, because it was pretty violent for a slasher film, for a modern slasher film at least. I mean, it's not like the goriest film I've ever seen in theaters, but it's got quite a bit of gore, and explicit gore at that. But basically, the Green Room centers on a punk rock band who are independent, and they're going on tour, and they end up getting screwed over by this guy who booked them a gig, and that gig fell through, and then he booked them another gig, which only made them about $6 a piece per member of the band. And he's like, "Oh well, I got another one for you. It's for my cousin who's in the South, and him and his friends are he knows somebody who owns a bar, and they'll be willing to hire you. Just don't mention your political views." The guy said this for a reason. The reason is because it's a bar run by Nazis and skinheads. It's basically they end up playing at this bar owned by skinheads, and when they accidentally end up witnessing a murder that occurs in the Green Room, which, for those of you who don't know, the Green Room is like a place where you go before performing to just chill out for a bit, and you chill out there after your performance. But they end up going in there and witnessing this murder, and they eventually they end up having to fight for their lives inside of this bar. One of the big things I heard about this film is I heard it got rave reviews, and I heard so many good things. I heard it was extremely tension filled, it was creepy, it was maybe even genuinely scary at times, it was violent, it was well written, it was well acted and well shot and put together perfectly. The soundtrack was good. I heard all these great things about it, and all those great things were true. This is a great film. Again, probably so far this year, probably my second favorite film of this year. It was an ultra violent, well, not ultra violent, but it was a violent little piece of, I would say, modern exploitation cinema. It's fun to watch for the violence, but you stay for the tension and the characters. It's a very intense film, and there are scenes of violence that even had me kind of cringing at how painful it all looked. But you know, I saw that this movie was getting very good reviews, so I figured I'll see it. And then I checked, and like I said, only playing in one theater. So I went to that one theater and saw it, and it's. I mean, I'm already raving about this film, but it is a very, very good film. Honestly, a great film. It's very well acted, like I said, well written. The soundtrack is great. The characters, at least for me personally, are relatable as somebody who enjoys like punk rock music and who supports independent arts and is also somewhat a part of the independent arts community. I can definitely relate to these characters. And the pacing in this film is very good. I mean, it starts off. Even though I did say it's fast paced, I will admit it starts off like the first 20 minutes or so are a little bit slow, but after you hit that 20-minute mark, it just fucking goes all out on you. I mean, it was insane how crazy how just like good this film was. It really reminds me of the new French Extremity films, how those films had intense violence and lots of tension and atmosphere, and they were also very well put together, well written films. Films like Martyrs, for probably the best example. Films like Martyrs and High Tension are probably two of the best examples of the very well put together, kind of extremely violent parts of the new French Extremity. And this is like the American equivalent, honestly. If you are a fan of horror films and very, very intense horror films and violent horror films at that, I would honestly recommend you check this one out. It's got great acting and writing, effects. Everything about this movie is absolutely great. There are even points in the movie where it's genuinely funny, which I mean, you know, people have always said always leave them laughing, and that's definitely how this movie ends. It kind of ends with a joke, but it was kind of fitting for the film, kind of. But yeah, on the Gourmet from 1 to 10, 1 being something like Nosferatu, and 10 being something like Peter Jackson's Brain Dead, it probably sits at like a 5.5, maybe a 6. It is pretty damn violent at times, and like I said, there are scenes in this film that had me cringing in pain, and that doesn't happen super often, especially now that I've seen tons and tons of horror films, but it's good to see that films can still do that to me. Well, good films can still do that to me. Overall, I would highly recommend you guys check this one out. It's been out in theaters for, I wouldn't say about a month now, but it's been out for for at least a few weeks. And I don't think it'll stay in theaters for much longer, because I don't remember it doing. I remember hearing about it not doing very well, even amongst the independent circuit. I mean, I heard it got some really good reviews at I think it was the Toronto International Film Festival, I forget. But anyway, I would highly recommend that you give this movie a watch, and I would give it like a 9 out of 10. It was just fucking kick ass. That's really it, guys. I'm BiscuitBoo69, signing off. Peace.